just to explain a little bit more about some of my writing adventures, I began to put some stories up in fanfiction.net, if you've ever heard of that. And I was a bit worried about doing this because some people did get a very hard time. Some, understandably, but others, a bit like myself, I felt a bit sorry for, because they're obviously getting good ideas, but they didn't know how to translate that. Same here. And initially I began to strike up a friendship with a very talented writer called Donna, who's American, and is just the most fantastic writer. And we put up a story that we'd kind of done together. I came up with the initial idea. She did say the hard work. A lot of it was what I had done unchanged, but she had added very clever little bits, and that went up to a fairly good response. Well, a very good response. That's definitely only because Donna was involved in it, and that was a Dukes of Hazzard fanfic, and that was about Beauduke and how he manages to get his own way. I can't remember the actual title of it now. So that was how that started, and I'd began to read many fictions on fanfiction.net, mainly in Dukes of Hazzard and The Incredible Hulk, and I got very interested in that, so that was what I was trying to write. And the second Dukes of Hazzard fanfic I came up with was a little poem. It was a Christmas poem, and that seemed to go down fairly well. And I put at least 9 stories up altogether. They were all one-shots, just short stories. And I decided to try and write a multi-chapter story, and that was called Long Road to Recovery. And I started that, and that seemed to be going down fairly well. And until I got to around about chapter 5, and then it all seemed to go quiet. And I began thinking, oh dear. But then it was just about that time that the upload to there started really playing up, and I found that I was missing words, and then when I went back and tried to insert those words again, another word became missing, and then it was when I put up a very light-hearted story that I was actually really enjoying doing, that I got a couple of quite negative messages. Obviously because words were missing, but also because of my difficulty with punctuation. And that made me feel very discouraged, so I took everything down after that. I haven't put another story on fanfiction since, and I don't think I would now. So that was that little adventure into fanfiction. I'm wondering whether I could rewrite them by hand and put them up on Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube. I'm getting my words mixed up here. Anyway, So that was that little foray into fan fiction. And then I did some other short Dukes of Hazzard story, which were about Uncle Jesse and him getting older and developing Alzheimer's and how the family coped. And they seemed to go down well. So, as I say, it wasn't until this multi-chapter story that there started to be problems, which basically is why I get very nervous about putting anything up at all. And at the minute, I have a story called One Weekend on the Go, which basically is about a very successful young couple called Maria and Michael, and it's all about how Maria usually doesn't like in relationships when the man gets too needy and she starts backing off.